Hey, good morning. So, thank you so much for your message last night. I saw your message on my way home from work, and I was like, "Ooh, all right, solid objection. Definitely something that I've heard other people be fearful of. That like, oh God, I don't want to become Beachbody, and then that's all I become. That's all that I speak about. That's all that I share about. I when I started, I'll tell you a little bit about my background since I didn't get to share that with you. But basically, when I started, I was in a place where I was at my heaviest again. It was very disappointing. I was at a dead end job that I hated. I hated everything about it. I could go into more detail, but it was pretty bad. And I come from an advertising background. I went to Quinnipiac University and I graduated with a BS in advertising. So my background is advertising, marketing, branding. Like that's the kind of stuff that like really gets me going. And my creative outlet is photography. So with that little bit of a background, you can see how when I found myself the most unhappiest, and I was just like, that's it, this is done. I'm tired of like cycling through this like weight gain, weight loss, weight gain, weight loss. I was like, I need something new and different and just completely like, something I haven't tried before. I was like, well, how am I going to keep myself accountable? And I didn't even know Beachbody existed. And I was like, how, because obviously I wasn't doing something right and I wasn't able to keep myself on track. So I literally had like a brainstorm on my way to work that morning. And I was like, all right, well, what do I want to do? What will actually make me feel like accountable, that I'll actually want to like check in and actually do something? And I was like, ooh, Instagram. I love Instagram because I love photography. I love getting creative with it. And at that time, I was working at Tiffany & Company. Prior to that, I was working at Martha Stewart, and my job at Martha Stewart was project management, and I was always on set with the photographers, with the food stylists. I'm obsessed with food, so I always wanted to be kind of like a mini food stylist. I was like, oh, well, if you want my opinion, I think maybe we should do this, and like the people who I was close with would like, kind of at least humor my ideas. But anyway, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to Instagram and I'm going to post. I'm going to post about what I'm eating. And then this way it's like a little diary almost for myself. Like, am I actually being healthy? Am I actually making healthy choices? Because I had a feeling, I had a sneaky suspicion that I was probably lying to myself, that I probably wasn't as healthy as I thought I was. And so then I was like, all right, and then I'll post about like what workouts I'm doing, what's working, and okay, great, this is a cool idea. And I have a personal account, and I was like, you know what, but I want this to be all about just my journey. And like, honestly, and I really mean this, I had no idea that this was even going on already in Instagram, because in my personal account, I didn't follow anything fitness. Nothing. I didn't have an interest in it. I didn't like care about it the way I care about it now. So I didn't even know that this existed. And here I am thinking like, oh, I've got this grandiose idea, like, oh, I'm going to be, doing this and nobody else is doing this already. So I was like, oh, all right, cool. I want to brand myself because again, that's my background. That's kind of the way I think. So who am I? How do I want to differentiate myself? And again, this is me brainstorming on the way to work, the job that I hated. And I was like, you know what? Who am I? I am a regular New York girl. That's who I am. And I want my journey to reflect nothing extreme, things that anybody can do. And I want to share everything that I'm going through, and how I'm doing it as an urban girl, living in a small New York apartment, and that's what I wanted to give back to people and to show and share my story. So that was how I created this brand for myself, and I was really excited about it. It was like, cool, I'm working on my own brand, and I'm going to be doing my own photography and food styling, and like I'm like, ooh, I got really excited, and because of this excitement, I actually stuck with it. So that was February 2015. I met my coach on Instagram just the way you and I have met on Instagram. probably 2 weeks into my like new Instagram account, and then that's when I realized, I'm like, oh my god, there's a whole community out here that's only talking about fitness and health and nutrition, and I was like, this is amazing. So, you know, following all sorts of people, but my coach that I have now, Amy Reelman, is the person who kept popping up consistently and telling her story, and you know, and how she was achieving the changes that she wanted in her life and reaching her goals, and that's really what attracted me to her. So it took me a solid 3 months of just like following her for me to finally reach out to her on Facebook and say like, hey, you know, like I would love to be, you know, a part of one of your challenge groups. And then in the challenge group, 3 weeks later, I lost my first 10 pounds, and I've not gained I haven't yo-yoed since then, and I've still lost those 10 pounds. And I've lost a lot more inches since then, which is great, which means that I'm gaining muscle, which I don't mind. You know, I want to be like toned, and, you know, and those are my personal goals. So I hope that gives you a bit of a window on how you can be your own brand, because the most successful coaches are exactly that. They do not look like each other. The most successful top coaches look like their individual lives, because our journey, our persona is what attracts people to us, and the right type of people will be attracted to the right type of coaches. So, like, for instance, I'm not really speaking to moms because I'm not a mom yet. So it might be hard for me or them to relate to each other, even though I could definitely help them, but it might be hard for them to see themselves in me, because I'm still, you know, I'm still, you know, I'm not married yet. You know, I have a boyfriend, but, you know, so it might be hard, and they might not be able to relate to me. But there are plenty, I'm sure, things about my life and my story and my struggles and, you know, my victories, and in my voice and how I speak about my journey that other people relate to. So I definitely don't feel like I've lost my individuality. I feel like I have like mastered now, well, not mastered, that's a strong word, but like I feel like I have figured out an outlet where I can talk about you know, my personal journey, my journey in the kitchen, my journey, you know, to figure out my diet and what's going to work for me, what's going to achieve that last like 15 pounds that I want to lose, you know, whatever it is. My like personal development too, like my mind, and, you know, and the challenges that I face, you know, inside and, you know, under the surface. So that's the stuff that I'm talking about. For me personally, you know, I think, I mean, I maybe I'd have to scroll through my own Instagram to check this, but I feel like a very, very small percentage I'm actually saying Beachbody. I'm actually saying Shakeology. I'm usually talking about like, oh, my chocolate shake I love, and this is why I drink it, and this is how I drink it, and these are the recipes that I do. You know, just like any kind of review that you would do of like your favorite running shoes, you know, and it's more about making sure that I'm being authentic to myself, and not about like, you know, what just everybody else is posting, so I'm going to post the same, because that's really truly not what I'm trying to do. And I again, I think that might be why we were kind of like attracted to each other, and you know, drawn to each other on Instagram. But and then another thing that I wanted to mention about like the actual Beachbody workout programs. So technically, no, you don't have to be a you know, avid like home workout person and only strictly do the Beachbody programs. You don't. Is it recommended to at minimum do Shakeology? Yes. And you know, and there are reasons for that, which I'll get into a second. But you can be a very successful coach by doing it by doing the workouts that you want to do, that are successful for you. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is live a healthy lifestyle and be an influencer and be an example for people who also, desire that, but are for some reason struggling to achieve that. So, your thing might be CrossFit, your thing might be, I don't know, spin, or a mixture of things, weightlifting. So, by just living the lifestyle, because you are living this lifestyle, you are attracting the right type of people. The reason why we say, to at least, drink Shakeology, it's a couple of reasons. One is that in order to have like challenge groups, and in order to have like monthly groups that come together for accountability, for nutrition, for working out, you kind of have to have like some kind of common product to bring those people together. And Shakeology is the best, at minimum, thing that you can do for yourself. The ingredients are top notch. The way that they put it together is amazing. Where they get the ingredients is outstanding. I could send you a separate information about that. So that's truly, like, at minimum, you want to at least be doing that, so that your challengers and your participants do that as well.